Thank you for joining me in talking about incrementality today. Before we get started, if we could have a quick raise of hands, who here already cares about measuring the impact of their marketing activity? Okay, great, cool. And if you keep your hands up, put them down if you're already doing, no, keep them up if you're already doing something about it, like if you're already measuring incrementality. Well, the hands are still up. What are you doing here? I'm not sure what I can teach you, but let's give it a go. So hi, I'm Viccy. I'm head up the implementation team at Moloco, which is essentially a kind of fancy word for saying new business account management. But it means that I and my team look after all of newly onboarded advertisers for the first 90 days of our partnership. And this means that we are talking to advertisers day in, day out and have a lot of different conversations about how experienced advertisers are with their incrementality measurement. And I'd like to take some time with you today just to talk through why is it important that we are looking at incrementality and how are we able to better analyze how to spend our marketing dollars. I'm going to go a little back a bit and zoom out a bit on the industry as a whole. It's no secret that sometimes ads get a bad name. I don't know how many other vendors we have in here, but I often, when trying to explain what the hell it is I do for a job, and my friends and family are like, oh, you do the ads, great, on mobile, really? And it's a problem, but we do keep ads, like apps free for you, so that's also a thing. But it is a problem. It's a problem for the industry as a whole. It's a problem for users. It's a problem for publishers. It's annoying. But where has this come from? Why do we have this pervasive issue of bad ads? So the industry's changed a lot over time. We've become more privacy-centric, which is really great for users if you leave out the bad ads. But what it has been responsible for is it's become a lot more challenging to actually effectively measure marketing activity. So the change in attribution methods such as scan, we now have the issue of having, although it's deterministic, of having aggregated results rather than user-level granularity. And with the MMPs, we now have a more estimated idea of what user-level granularity looks like when we're looking at probabilistic attribution. And this is a challenge because we now have inconsistent ways of measuring marketing activity, and that drives challenges, and it means that advertisers or measurement partners are inconsistent with how they are measuring activity. So this inconsistency is a challenge, but these clicks, these high CTRs that we've been seeing, it's not a new issue. This fat dumb era of tiny X buttons and end cards you can't close, it's been around for a little while now, from around 2017. But we've seen a real hike in the increase of clicks and CTRs, in particular since iOS 14.5 and ATT in 2021. Now, this is for a variety of reasons, but it does help in terms of gaining attribution through probabilistic, in order to get attributed from probabilistic attribution. But there's also things such as SK overlay, auto store, where many media channels will be firing clicks on those specific ad formats, whether or not there's any user intent there. And why is this a problem? Well, we see now nearly up to 100% CTRs on iOS, which is completely bonkers and obviously not true. And being able to unpick the difference between what is an intent-based click versus a forced click versus an engaged view or whatever within the attribution systems we have at the moment, it's a real challenge because clicks used to show user intent. We used to be able to understand that if a user clicked on an ad, that's what they meant to do, and any purchase that comes from them is a real one. But now we come to a time where that's a lot more challenging to understand. So this click arms race is bad for everyone. As mentioned, it's bad for the users, it's bad for the publishers, and it's bad for marketers, for you guys, because attribution might look really great if we're getting all these clicks. If our publishers are driving up to 100% CTRs, you might think this is a fantastic thing. However, it's likely that these gains are superficial and not really accurately measuring how impactful your marketing is. So why all this? Why am I banging on about clicks? We're talking about incrementality here. Why are clicks important? But I will answer that. But I firstly want to talk a little bit more about incrementality. What is it? What do we mean? It looks like actually there's a lot of hands here, so I'm probably going to be mansplaining this to you. But hey, whatever. We're going to do a little game. If I'm going to ask you guys over here, you'll be Group A, you'll be Group B. Group B, close your eyes for 5 to 10 seconds. I want them all, and you. 5 to 10 seconds, close your eyes, go on. Great. So we can see this, Group A, not you guys, can see this lovely ad up here. Great, lovely, seen it? Okay, Group B, you can open your eyes now. Thanks for humoring me. I hope you didn't go to sleep. Bad. So I'm going to ask all of you now, who wants an ice cream? Hands up. Okay, so as you can see, Group B, surprise, I gave Group A an advert of an ice cream. There was actually not much uplift between the two groups of who wanted an ice cream and who could not. Therefore, I would say that any marketing spend that I spent on this ad, not incremental, don't bother. Luckily, I didn't spend any money on the marketing, and unfortunately for you guys, I don't have any ice cream. Sorry. But what does this mean? Why am I banging on about this? Who really cares? So the mobile ecosystem that we are currently working in, when it comes to attribution, is often the last touch that is most heavily accepted in terms of when driving attribution for channels. The last touch is the one that gets all of the credit as it stands. So if I were to show an ice cream ad and then you were to go and buy it, or someone from Group A were to buy that ice cream, I could claim that all by myself and I would have no idea about the journey that you got to do that. I don't know if you've seen ice cream ads on your way in. I actually have no idea if it's sunny outside right now because we're down here. But I don't know what could have driven that purchase intent for that ice cream. I would claim it on my ad. You can see clearly from Group B that they also wanted an ice cream and my ad had nothing to do with it. So the problem with last touch attribution is that it doesn't show this full funnel. And despite there being perhaps another channel involved here, I would claim all that attribution for myself. Now, there are many media channels that drive consideration, awareness, intent, and really brilliant at actually driving that purchase intent and conversion for users. There are also channels that are really great at just harvesting that demand on an audience that already would want an ice cream or want to convert. And that's something to be really considerate of when we're unpicking the difference between attribution and incrementality, because just because someone's claimed credit for something doesn't mean that it's going to be worthwhile of your advertising dollars. And this is why it's really important to consider both when understanding what is your ROI. Here is a demonstration to media source A and media source B. I mean, this is not what the split looked like in the room, but for example, media source A here looks really good on attribution, but really poor or less good on incrementality. Whereas media source B, if you were to just look at the attribution metrics, you'd think it's not as good. But actually, all the users there was much heavier amount of users that were incremental for that channel. So where would you rather be spending your money? So I could bang on about attribution. I'm not going to too much. There are many more experts here. I think there's a few more people from MMPs here that actually have more of an idea of what they're on about. So I will focus more on incrementality. But the idea is, particularly here at Moloco, is that we want to focus on transparency and control when it comes to these methods. And it's really important to consider consistent measurement across all your channels when speaking about incrementality. So we know it's top of mind for lots of marketers. We have a stat here, 60% of marketers make it a top priority. However, only 52% are actually already doing anything about incrementality. Again, the split here, very different. You guys are already on the ball. Fantastic. But why is that? Why, oops, sorry, clicked ahead. But why is that? Why is fewer people or fewer advertisers doing something about incrementality already? It's because it's quite hard. So it involves, for your ad partners, it involves a product-focused investment and quite a lot of money investment there too. And it involves a cross-collaborative effort across all your channels to have a consistent measurement method and to fully understand the lift across all the channels that you're working with. So it's a little bit tricky. But I'm going to talk a bit about how we do this at Moloco, what our approaches are, and hopefully leave you with a little bit of a checklist at the end of what you should be looking for in your ad partners. So we support two main methodologies when it comes to incrementality. So placebo ads, which would be showing you the difference in uplift between when we show you a Moloco ad versus a actual ad. This comes with the least noise. It's the best in terms of granular data, user-level data, but not everyone likes paying for ads that aren't for them, which is fair enough. So we have ghost bidding, which is probably our most popular. There's no cost implication here, but it does come with a bit more noise, and this involves holding back, understanding the users that we would want to target, but holding them back from the test and only showing them impressions for ads that for the actual advertiser. These are the two main methods that we run. They rely on having a device ID, and as per previously, we don't always have that anymore in the world that we find ourselves. So we are also developing methods for where there doesn't exist a device ID, predominantly in iOS, where we're looking at geography splits. We're also not just investing in our first-party products, such as the placebo ads and ghost bidding, but we also realize that we can't do this by ourselves. So we are empowering our third-party partners to utilize and take our data, our impression-level data, so that they can use this across platform, across channel, and use this for solutions that work for you guys, that work for your advertisers. So we really do believe that transparency and control, the flexibility to be able to run these tests in a way that works for you, is super important. In terms of what else should you consider when thinking about incrementality? So not all channels are the same. DSPs like Moloco operate pretty differently to walled gardens, and that's a fight I have a lot day to day. But it's important to understand the differences in the test, how the different setups, how it's all working, and be aware of the differences so that when you're comparing tests and results from different channels, that you're comparing like for like and understanding that the test setup designs can differ, and some channels can be very good at inflating their own numbers. Here at Moloco, we'll always give you like a full access to the data that we have ourselves, so you yourselves can also dig into this and be able to understand the insights from your end. But having this consistency across channels is super important, because there's no point in running a campaign with Moloco and then understanding our conversion uplift if you don't understand it across your other channels as well. So it's something we urge as a conversation across all channels and not just us. But don't just listen to us or to me banging on. We have some of our key partners that we already work with have seen huge success with running incrementality across Moloco. So Playrix, who was obviously one of the biggest gaming advertisers in the world, they were once quite focused on attribution and predominantly used attribution as the way to spend their marketing dollars. But through unlocking incrementality with Moloco, they were able to not just see significant uplift in results, but also gain insights that allow them to make data-informed decisions to drive their marketing spend. And now they're one of our top customers that run incrementality tests concurrently all the time. So to summarize, I'm nearly done. To summarize, we live in a privacy-centric world and everything's evolving all the time. And as positive as that is for users, it does make measurement tougher. And it does mean, because measurement is tougher, we need to have better solutions that consider all parts of the marketing journey in order to understand incrementality. And I'd ask, when you are considering the relevant ad partners that you want to choose for your marketing spend, to consider a few things. So, are they transparent? Do you know where your ads are running? Do you know what data they're using? Are they upfront with you? Are they marking their own homework and like patting themselves on the back and validating their own worth? Or are they working with third parties, other channels, MMPs to kind of validate their results? Are they offering you the control and flexibility to choose methods that work for you? And are they offering a comprehensive solution that considers both attribution and incrementality in order for you to best decide how to spend your marketing dollars? And that's it. Thank you guys for joining me today. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions at all.